You're now finally at the good bit. You are now, you know a bit about Betfair, you're ready to start making some money and some moves on the Betfair Exchange. But what do you need to do first? First thing you need to do is head over to Betfair, make sure you've got an account. If you have an account already, then move on to the next step. So this is where people get muddled up. They think they need a lot of money. I'm going to talk here a little bit about Betfair Bank. I do have a little bit more coming later, but my advice is always start with an amount you are prepared to lose. You don't need to go crazy when putting money in to start. Just start with a small amount. My thought here is that over 10 years of helping people trade, and me trading myself, is that if you can't handle £50 bank, then you will 100% not be able to handle anything more, like £1,000 bank. You're just not going to be able to do it. So this now becomes the trading bank, and it is capital. It is very, very important. Do not treat it lightly. And I don't mean to come across as negative here, but it takes time and most importantly, patience to become a good trader on Betfair. So there is a real possibility that you will lose a lot of trades while you are on this path to becoming a good trader. So I don't want you to go crazy and start trying to build this massive bank and put in a load of money. Treat this initial bank as an investment. It's an investment in you and your future on the trading exchanges. So get that mindset ready for it. You're after long-term success here, and you want to make sure that you use this account for your trading only. So it's just for your trading. If you do want to do some bets, go set an account up with Sky Bet or Bet365. Your exchange now is your trading hub. I will cover software later. Don't worry about having a super fast computer with 6 screens and all that. At this stage, we want to keep it really simple. I always say that trading can be as simple or as complicated as you make it. The most important thing here is to pick a sport and a market to trade on and to get the experience of the markets. And I know it can be really tempting to just pick anything and trade it, but having some thought behind the choice can help. It really can help you and can arm yourself with the information you need to lock that vision into a sport. And then with places like the BTC community, you can connect with the right traders and follow the right threads attached to that sport to get that laser targeted focus. What I want you to think about now is the 2 main things that I think are the greatest influence on the sport you should pick. And they are time and interest. So I'm going to cover both of these and explain exactly what you need to understand when picking a sport. Let's start with time. I see people commenting on groups or sending me emails and they want to become a full-time trader, but they don't have time. Time is a very important factor in our lives. And I firmly believe that to be a success on Betfair, you have to have a happy balance. So you need to pick a sport or a market which you have the time to trade on. Most people who want to be traders cannot trade the horses, for example, because they work in the day. They can only trade in the evenings. So if that is you, you can trade the horses in the evenings, but only through the summer, etc. But what I also want you to be very careful and mindful of is the impact that is going to have on other commitments, such as your partner, your family. You're going to have to get that balance right. The same can be said with other sports, such as football. You know, the bulk of your trading on the football is going to be done during the weekend. So there is not really much point in picking football if you can't trade at the weekend. Tennis is a favourite of mine, but the times are always changing. So we do the Aussie Open, for example. It goes into the really crazy hours of the morning, like really late. So I have to change my whole schedule for that. So one thing that we've spotted at BTC is we have a lot of traders who want to trade, but they're struggling with the time and the commitment. So it's great that we've got some set and forget systems inside BTC where they can get all the information they need, they can plug that in, and then they can go off and do that. And that gives them a baseline profit while they're working so that they can build up to become a better trader. So the next thing to consider after time is when can you actually trade, and is the event on that you want to be able to trade? Is interest. I've found that it's much easier to trade a sport if you like it, and it also will give you a few advantages because you know that sport. So if it's football, you know the players, you know the teams, you know the setup, you know the rules. Or if it's horses and you already know that. It also helps that you are then it's gonna be easier to do the research on that sport. So if you have the time to pick a sport that you have an interest in, why not start there? You know, you've got the background knowledge, you'll find it easier to learn about the jockeys, the teams, the players, etc. You've got this base knowledge. Now you just got to start to watch the markets and look at how you can turn that information into profit. But please be aware that you will start to see the sport you love very differently. You're going to spot opportunities to trade it. You know, you'll be down the pub with your mates and you'll say, I'm going both teams to score in this game because I think it's coming in, you know, and they're gonna turn around and be like, what? And you go, well, there is a 75% chance of that happening, you know, and the bookies are giving, you know, 1 point whatever, and I can get this on Betfair and I know that's value. That is going to happen. It's going to be a real life example. So hopefully that's given you some pointers on how to get started on Betfair, so how to treat the trading bank initially, and also how to pick a sport. I do have some guides coming on individual sports, the 4 main sports that we cover on BTC are horse racing, cricket, tennis and football, and I'll have some guides for those sports, so I'll have links in there so you can go and watch those and then learn a bit more about those sports and then hopefully pick those sports. In the next video in this little video series, we're going to be talking about trading strategies.